Hey, Gabriel,
Hey, Gaybros Jose.
where are we today?
Big news. I am not in the same spot.
That's true, but the only reason is because your boyfriend is talking with my boyfriend, or your usual location.
So I'm actually on an entirely different floor of my home. With you on
Yeah,
the same couch.
Exactly. Yeah. We are sharing time and space right now.
Welcome to your home, Gabriel.
Thank you for the warm welcome. So what did we watch for celebrating this happy event?
So this was my pick, and I really wanted to celebrate you coming. So I picked a film about a religious zealot serial killer called Night of the Hunter from
55?
1955. Well,
Okay, alright, cool. Yeah, that was your pick. So why did you pick it again?
We picked it because my mind was a total blank at the end of the last podcast when we finished recording about The Godfather, the prequel to the good one. And I knew you had wanted to watch this, and I'm not the biggest fan of black and white Hollywood, but when it said that this was a nod to German Expressionism, I was like, okay.
When what?
When this film was a nod to German Expressionism,
Oh yeah. We talk about it. Yeah.
And I was
It's
like,
pretty
okay.
obvious that it's like, oh, this looks like a Friesland movie.
And I love serial killers.
Yeah. You actually like M, now that I remember, no?
I did, and I was hoping for a Hollywood version of M.
Yeah. This is probably. I think that exists. Probably we shouldn't watch it, but I think that exists. But yes, this was your pick. I guess that I will have to summarize it. But I think that you gave like a way basically it's the movie opens with a father being detained in front of his sons. The sons hide some money that he actually got, like I don't know, like in a bank robbery, I think that it was, and he gets sent to prison. And in prison, he becomes, I mean, he's not really friends, but he actually shares the cell with a preacher, a pseudo preacher, say a lot, crazy, basically pretty crazy.
Yeah, super crazy. He like literally talks. He speaks out loud to God.
Yep.
Directs him.
Yeah. So, but it's like the telepreacher style, that we expect. And we see also, I have forgotten, we actually see like this scene like taken from a plane over top of a house, and we see like 5 kids that they are like looking at a door open, and we see like a corpse there of a woman.
Oh yeah.
And we are, basically they spell to our face that this guy is a serial murderer, that it actually goes around like just murdering women. But he gets captured, blah blah blah. Well, he actually meets the father, and when he gets out, he seduces the mother, now a widow, of these kids, and then just for trying to figure it out where the money is, as the father talking in prison that it was hidden and he will never find out. So he started like basically harassing the kids. The kids ran away from the house. I'm going to be like just saving like some parts. Is that they ran away from the house, and then we have like a road trip kind of thing, Oliver Twist kind of,
Like Huckleberry Finn.
Huckleberry Field,
With
down
the serial
the river,
killer, yeah.
the serial killer chasing him. And yeah, that's basically it. Is that then we have like a good resolution of the story, and it's like I mean, the funny thing is, like, it's a heartwarming movie, and at the same time, it's not.
It has a happy, wholesome ending after a whole lot of really dark shit happen.
Yeah, but also at the same time, is that they're selling you, and it's like, hey, have a happy ending. But if they do, is that these guys ended up pretty bad, It's that they have a good place now, but they also had a good mother.
They had a good mom. They had a shitty dad, but he seemed to love his kids.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if he was shitty or not, because I think that they actually talk about like, hey, this person stole because of society pushing into it. Is like they have poverty and they couldn't actually sustain. I mean, the mother works, but I'm pretty sure that she doesn't do too much money in the ice cream shop.
She does not. Also, I think it's worth mentioning, I had to look this up because the amount stolen from the bank that is then hidden...
$10,000?
Yes.
Yeah.
In 2022 dollars, that's roughly $110,000. So I was like, why are they... Yeah. Once I understood, I was like, is that much money?
Well, but it's not only about inflation, it's about like what you could buy with that money. Because you could buy a house pretty soon, or 2 houses. So from that perspective, like probably that could change their lives.
So what did you think? Excellent synopsis.
Yeah, maybe too detailed. This was the 3rd time that I watched it. I really like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When was the last time?
The last time was before I moved to Madrid. We actually watched it in a small cinema.
It's like 15 years ago, at least.
Yeah, 15 years probably. Yeah. So I remember like most of it. I'm already giving away one of the questions. I remember like the songs, that they sing in a couple of specific points. They repeat like some of the songs, and they made them like a bit more disturbing. They used like a sound motif. Oh, and he's singing, and the owner of the orphanage is also singing.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's a very disturbing scene.
Yeah,
like the entire thing.
Yeah, how both are like religious people, but how they use it in a different way. One of them for still fear, and the other one for still love.
But also, there's just something about the calm menace of the serial killer, because she chases him off with a gun when he's trying to capture the little boy John, I think his name is. Yeah. Right? And she's like, get shot or leave. So he's like, fine, I'll be back after dark. And then he comes back after dark, and it's scary.
Yeah, he's like fucking like chill about it. That is like, don't worry, I'll be back. It's fine. Yeah, I really like that kind. It has an eeriness. It has like a strange. It's like we always talk about like, hey, Vespertine feels like an album that you listen in the middle of the night. Because like, for me, this is a movie that you watch in the middle of the night, and it has like this kind of subtle, soft thing. I'm not comparing this the quality of Vespertine.
No, I understand what you're saying.
But it's like that scene, for example, when they are on the river and the little girl is singing, and you have like these things that now is pretty obvious how it was made. That is okay. This is pretty, I don't know, cheap by nowadays standard, about like how they put like these dreamy things like the frog and everything, and it's like overlaid.
Yeah. And there are some long shots where the camera follows the boat.
Yeah. It's like aesthetically, it's like super avant-garde in some aspects, and it actually comes together like pretty well,
There's also I really enjoyed all the nods to what I assume is M. Like, all of those really interesting visuals were...
Anything from the German expressionism, you're absolutely right, because we were discussing about it.
Vampire.
Yeah, exactly, like Metropolis is a bit more of a... It still has that flavor of early cinema from the 20s and 30s, that it feels almost like a theater stage in some of the scenes, like when they're like the mother is in bed, and the zealot, the criminal, is talking with her.
Harry or Henry?
I don't remember, but it's that you could actually feel it's like, hey, the bed, like the lighting that it has around is like it's incredible, but it actually tells you it's like this is not trying to be realistic. It's trying to be impressionist.
In fact, there's the scene when the preacher Harry, I looked it up, Harry comes back after dark like he promises, and he's singing. It shows the kids in bed, and there's these beautiful triangles of light coming down, and I was like, this beautiful bullshit.
It's bullshit, but it's true. The thing is, like, it has like the Hollywood golden age flair to it, but at the same time it's imitating in many ways the 20s. It actually uses nostalgia at that point. It's like when we actually say, like, dude, how much stuff have we seen from that is inspired on the 80s and early 90s, like how they are exploiting it. It's like, I think that they were doing like a bit of, not really exploitation, but it's like just like trying to resonate to a feeling of community of the 20s that's probably most of the audience actually lived through.
I completely agree with you, but it's like a tense movie.
Like a what?
It's a tense movie for
is.
being, what did we decide? 120, 115, 118 years old? Not 100, sorry. 80, I can't do the math. Came out in 55? How old is that?
Like
70.
a bit
just
less.
Under 70.
Yeah.
But there's a particular scene where the serial killer has killed the mom. The kids don't know it yet. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert.
It's fine. He's 70 years old, almost.
Almost. And the kids try and send him into the basement to look for the money, but the killer makes them come. But then he chases them up the stairs, and it's so absurdist.
Yeah.
But then there's this gorgeous shot of the kids that have locked the basement door, and you're just looking at them leaning up against the door, and all that's in the frame is a chair, a wooden chair.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And so my only complaint about the film is they didn't lean into that more, because the moments when it did, I thought, this is like if Tim Burton were talented.
Oh yeah, fuck you. But we actually talk about Tim Burton. Is that we actually felt like that night scene in the river when they are going down river is like that's a straight Tim Burton. It's like I'm pretty sure that Tim Burton watched this movie many times, and like like how menacing, and at the same time almost like a cartoonish the bad guy feels.
Yeah, it's like what this film is to menace is what Tarantino is to violence. What do we say about that? It's so over the top and cartoonish that you can't. It's not that you don't take it seriously, it's that it doesn't have the same impact as real violence. It's kind of the same with this. Like, it feels otherworldly, and that's disturbing to me.
Yeah. No, that's it. It's like, for me, it's like this eeriness that it has. That is like, hey, there is something dreamy about it, but it feels more of a nightmare. It's like a slow burning about like how he's chasing, then just feeling like the peril that they are exposed to. I really like it. I was like still like impressed about like this. It's a really good movie. It's like a small, nice movie. And I was reading a bit more into they had like probably the nostalgic flavor about the 20s, I don't think that it's like a random choice. I think that is that they actually did it. And as we were saying, it's like they actually tried to film with some of the aspects of that time, of cinema at that time, but at the same time like being a bit avant-garde in some others, because like what you were describing, that scene with the chair is like, I'm pretty sure that was like a bit modernist in flavor for that time.
Yeah, I agree. So I enjoyed this movie so much that I rewatched parts of it, and I spent a lot of time reading the IMDb trivia page. There are some that I found really interesting. For one, the director.
He only did this movie, no?
I don't know if he only did this movie, but he never directed again after this. And this movie was universally panned by critics and audiences when it came out. People hated it. The reviews are horrible.
Why?
They said this is silly, they're not real characters, it's over the top. There was, I think it was Francois Truffaut said this is an experimental film that actually experiments. He liked it, but like people didn't like this when it came out. It is undisputedly a classic now, which I find interesting. And even though the rumor is he never directed another film was because of this, it wasn't.
Okay.
But he never did direct another film. A few other things. The director hated children, and particularly hated Rose, John's little sister. And so many times in the film, she's crying, and it's because the director had been yelling at her, so that like real tears.
Oh my god.
And I think the last one is that Harry, the serial killer, is based on a real serial killer that killed widows and their children in West Virginia.
Oh. Okay.
And he was an immigrant from Europe. I'm just saying, guys, they're not all bad.
They're not all good. What was I going to say? God, no, actually. Oh, there is one thing that I was not a fan of. That is like it feels a bit too American in the sense of being like too moralistic.
Okay, so this is my only major complaint about the film is about the last 60, 90 seconds where I just wanted to say, fuck you.
All of you, yeah. There was also like this scene that I found hilarious when the people revolt. So there's like this random mutiny that is like, wait, what? What is happening right now? And they run away from the court, and then it's like 30 seconds later, not even 30, like 10 seconds later, they're like just laughing, and it's completely happy. It's like, wait, there is like a revolt. It's like people are actually burning the city down, and you guys are like completely happy.
There was something weird about this scene. I didn't read anything about it, but I was like, this feels so out of place that I honestly thought about your favorite scene in the prequel to Solaris, the Tarkovsky version.
Oh, Stalker.
And no, sorry, I was joking about Soderbergh's Solaris, and Tarkovsky. So in the Tarkovsky version, there's this like a real-time driving scene on a highway.
Oh my god.
And I took a film course on Solaris, and the teacher who had her PhD thesis was on Solaris. She said that the only reason they included that scene is because the Soviet Union gave a very, very rare exemption to film internationally, and they allowed them to go to Japan, and that's the only usable footage they had from Japan, so Tarkovsky included it. But this scene that you mentioned felt so out of place. I thought there must have been something like either a union required all these extras be used, or they had a surplus of budget, and they're like, what are we doing with this extra budget? Let's get people with pitchforks, but like it's so out of place.
Yeah, that part is like, it's bizarre. It's like, it just let me confuse something. Actually, it's not all about like, you can do that scene, and you leave it there, fine, but don't transition into a moment of happiness, like immediately, because it's like nothing makes sense.
Yeah, so are we just okay? Spoiler alerts. If you really don't want to know the end of the film, stop. But like, if they ended when Harry gets arrested or put to death, it would have been great.
Yep.
But then the fact that they chose to have this woman
5 minutes, it was like a bit moralist. That's the only part that I felt. There are like sometimes, for example, like during the cinema on that era, that you have like movies that they're a bit like transgressive, and then there is like a small detail for it, like no, this is still within code. Don't worry, you know. I think that Billy Wilder in some of the movies, I just feel is like, dude, you are dropping a bomb here, like with the apartment, and then you need to have, you know, like a bit of a happy ending or a bit of a. Or what I tell you, like, I love Sunset Boulevard, but it's like the love relationship that they put with the other woman is like, thankfully it has an ending, but it's a bit more of a. This feels a bit more like melodrama mandate by the studio.
And this is why I typically don't like Hollywood, because this is a very, in my opinion, this is a compelling story if you cut off the last 90 seconds. But who was telling black and white, highly moralistic, sometimes horror genre films in the 50s? Ingmar Bergman. And Ingmar Bergman would have had the taste, or he would not have had the studio behind him forcing him to wrap this up in a neat, like, tale versus good and evil at the end. Yeah. So that's my only complaint, is that ending.
Yeah. I mean, the good and evil is... I think that is fine. It's more like a... Yeah, those last 60 seconds is that... well, the last 5 minutes.
She breaks the third wall. She looks into the camera and says something about
that's
how dear children are and they will endure or something, and I was like, how could you ruin this movie with that?
Yeah, that part is like, I wish that there was like an edit that is like, it just ends at the end of the trial.
Yeah.
That's it. There is no revolt, there is nothing else. Here we are.
But overall, I think this film... Scale is something we talk a lot about. Like, this film knew exactly its scale. It was a tight 90 minutes. There's not even that. I wouldn't cut anything necessarily besides that.
For the last 3 minutes.
And I was. So this was my first time watching it. I was just very pleasantly surprised at how effective this film still is.
Yeah. No, it is like pretty well from that perspective. Should we go over the questions?
Let's do the questions. So, Jose, would you watch this movie again?
Yeah. I mean, not right now, but probably in a couple of years.
I would absolutely watch this again. Like I said, I rewatched a few scenes, and this is just a good movie. If my husband wanted to watch it, I'd watch it tomorrow.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So would you recommend this?
Definitely, to anyone. This is like a super easy to recommend movie, I feel.
I would also recommend it. There's nothing... This question is not to be about offensive materials, but I always think about it. There's nothing offensive besides discussing graphic murders, but even the discussion.
But you don't even see them.
You see John and Rose's mom floating in a lake.
But you don't even see how she gets murdered, you know? And it's even like, once again, it has like this dream-like property, you know? Of she like floating, like the hair floating and everything.
Yeah. Will you remember it?
Yep, I already remember it for the first time.
So my answer is also yes. I will remember big picture stuff, but I'm gonna forget a lot. Is there anything artistic about this?
Oh yeah, definitely. There is a lot artistic about it.
Agreed. Visually, it's pretty stunning sometimes. The acting is good, even when it's over the top. Over the top, which was the style at the time. It's not yet. Is this a timeless piece?
Yeah. I mean, I think that also it helps that it takes place in a time before.
Yeah, I mean, it leans into like the standards of the day, like the fact two kids could just wander into another town and nobody would ask for their parents' email address. But the themes explored are timeless.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna answer this one. I would absolutely not turn this into a TV show. Would you?
I mean, I can see how someone would try to, something similar to The Last of Us, like.
Okay, if it was HBO in 2023, sure, make this. If the option is like a TV show, like Leave It to Beaver in the 50s.
No, definitely not. But I mean, I think that it could work because I just think that they have like multiple stops on the river. No, you could actually just make it like a road trip TV show. Every episode, they go to a place, and
Would
you always have.
Watch the road trip?
Probably not, but I think that it could work.
So you would? The answer is yes.
I could turn it. If I was like a heartless TV producer, I would actually turn it.
Could this film have been a short?
I could go with yes. It's not saying that it's bad or anything. It's a bit more of a character development is not like a critical part.
I agree. I think it would be a longer short, but could you get everything in here in 25 minutes? Absolutely.
Yeah. Not saying that I felt like it was too long or anything.
No, I wouldn't cut it down either, but you could have a similarly effective story in a shorter time. Could this have been better?
I'm a bit torn because I need to go with yes. It's like if we actually edit out like the last minutes, and it's not because it's too long, it's just because it gives a different tone at the end of the movie.
Yeah, to me that last scene is just treating the audience like it's stupid. Like, we get it. The good one. You don't have to spell it out.
Yeah, it's almost like just watching a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. That is like, do you need that moralistic message at the end? It's like, no, you don't, but here it is.
Well, anything else to say about the film before we score it? Because we've arrived at the end of our questions.
No, I don't think so. It's a good film. People should watch it.
This was my pick. You have to score first.
My score is going to be an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Mine's an 8 as well.
Cool.
And I was going back and forth between an 7.5 and an 8.5. So.
Yeah. No, I think that is a really solid movie. I think that it aged well. I hope that it's on the Criterion Collection. It's like a good piece of cinema for the future. Along Armageddon.
So, Murderer of the Night was my pick, which means you have to pick next. What are we going to watch?
So, are we going to be doing this?
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, we joked about the idea of putting together a list of movies that we think that the other person would hate to watch. So these are not like necessarily my favorite movies or anything like that, but I only could think of 4. Should I?
Yes, you should.
We haven't read the list before. I think that you are going to respect like a couple of these. The first one is Amélie.
Interesting, okay.
After watching Chungking Express, I was like, wish it was the remake.
Alright.
The second one is Brazil. Again.
Wow, you really...
I went there.
Okay.
I went there. The third one is It's a Wonderful Life.
That would really torture me.
And now when we're talking about like the moralist aspect of Hollywood during that time, is that And then the fourth one that I had, it was La La Land.
These are very good movies to torture me with.
Yeah, because I feel like, look, it's a musical, it's about Hollywood, but it's exactly the opposite of Mulholland Drive.
I don't like I really hate 3 of these movies.
If you tell me that the one that you didn't hate is Amélie...
I'm not going to say anything, so where do we go from here?
I don't know. I mean, the idea was like just picking one randomly. But it's like, are you going to be like sharing your list?
Okay, I have 4 as well.
Okay, bring it on.
Okay, the first one has the most incredible casting crew. So many incredible actors and directors. Movie 43.
When you say like a lot of cast, it's like, oh my god, he's going fucking. But the thing is, like this, I had the feeling that these are movies that they won't be painful for me to watch, like the ones that I pick. Movie 43 wouldn't be painful for you to watch it, or
I'm
you are
willing
like,
to.
you're willing to. So you're saying like, I'm willing just for seeing like the pain on your face.
Yeah.
I'm willing. Okay.
Okay. So
You're an asshole. You're an asshole.
The next is a little seen film, an apology of Gus Van Sant, if you will, to the people after directing the Apples movie.
The Apples.
How do you like them apples? Good Will Hunting. So he had to apologize by making the smallest little independent film ever.
Magnolia?
No, there's two actors. It's Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, called Jerry.
I never watched that, but everything sounds terrible about it.
It's a really terrible. They walk around in the desert for 2 hours.
Oh yeah, I heard about. Oh my god, dude. How long is it? 2 hours.
No. I think it's 90 minutes. It's mercifully short.
Okay.
But the best part is they don't use real words. They just refer to everything as Jerry. Like, oh, you jerried up the rendezvous. Did you jerry out?
Oh my fucking. Okay.
Okay. The next one is Madonna's ex, Guy Ritchie. Guy Ritchie directed a little-known film called Revolver, starring Andre 3000, that never got released in America because it's so bad.
Guy Ritchie, I mean, that guy is hilarious. Is like he actually did like the first. What was the Two Smoking Barrels? Looking at Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Then he did The Nuts. That is basically the same movie again, but with Brad Pitt.
Yep.
That is, it makes it better.
And then Swept Away.
Everything was garbage after that. It was like incredible about like how the quality of your first two movies is like so significantly distant because you remade the first one into the second. And the hero of it is...
Rock and Rolla was good, and he did. Didn't he do the newest Sherlock Holmes?
Oh, I don't know.
He's done some decent.
Okay.
Middle of the road stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, he started like, oh my god, is this like the next Tarantino? Yeah. And he's like, no, he didn't do anything. Okay.
And the last one, I don't think we'll probably watch this, but I'd really like to hear you talk about Everything Everywhere.
We recorded about it already.
I really want you to watch it again now that it's an Oscar winner.
Fuck you, man. So instead of going with Tar, you want to use this opportunity for punishing me for not liking.
Tar didn't feel right for this list because I would have enjoyed myself too much.
Well, that's what I went with. Is that I want to actually, and I expected that everything was going to be Ingmar Bergman and Bella Tar, both of them.
I tossed around an Ingmar Bergman one, but that needs a serious discussion, and I feel like this discussion is going to be a little bit humorous.
Okay, that's fair. How do we decide now? How do we move from here?
How about I pick one from my list.
Okay.
And you pick one from yours.
And we do like a double feature?
And then we do a double feature and we talk about how much we hate these movies.
Okay, you pick one and I pick one.
Okay. Alright, I picked. Mine has a caveat.
A caveat, okay. What about if we pick two and we let like the other person?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And we let the other person decide.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, I already picked. Yeah.
Fuck you if it's the one I don't want the most.
We're picking two just for giving like a way out.
All right.
Okay.
So what are your two?
My two are Amelie and Brazil.
That's like a no-brainer for me.
I assume that is a no-brainer.
All right, I pick Amelie.
You pick Amelie. Okay.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I need you to pick between Jerry and Revolver.
At least it's not movie 4. If you had gone with movie 43, it's like you know that I would have picked the other one. Because that embraces everything that I hate. It's like usually I'm not big into comedy, and I remember like seeing the trailers for that.
Come on, this is the Paris Je t'aime of comedy.
It's almost like the how do you say, like in Tokyo, like the part about like it's turning into a chair. But all of it is like 43 sketches about like, and she's already a chair. Do you find this interesting? It's like, no.
Brought to you by some really talented people for some reason.
Yeah. So you told me Jerry and Revolver. Let's do Revolver. Let's do like a bit of a more smart kind of thing about like, it was not released in the States.
Okay, so the caveat is with Revolver because I used to own it because I bought it in Asia. I never found it in America. It's probably available. It might not be. So you have to watch Cherry if Revolver's still available.
No. What was the other one? I think that I would be even willing to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once for a third time.
Okay, so you pick Revolver. If it doesn't work, I'm going to present you two options, Jerry and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which one would you pick?
Let's do Jerry. Let's
Okay.
go with Jerry. Okay.
So Revolver, but if you can't get Revolver, Jerry.
Yeah. And
All right.
for us, he's what is it? Emily.
Yes.
Because yes, I really don't want to.
Definitely not the other one.
Okay, man. That's going to be a very interesting conversation. Yeah.
All right.
Anything else to say to our audience?
Goodbye. We're going to a gay bar now.
Okay. Bye.